How's it going, beautiful people? What you are about to hear is a live edition of the Bitchuation Room at the Lincoln Lodge in Chicago, recorded on Monday, August 19th. We had such a good time. Our audio was not perfect, so excuse some of the pops, but what you're about to hear is better than any DNC speech. So if you enjoy it, make sure to give this podcast 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/FrannyFio. Tip the show TBR-Live on Venmo, TBR Live on Cash App, and become a patron, people. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Join the Frantifa. And now, on with the show.
Almost as good of a banger as Britney Spears, everybody. How you doing? Look at what's going on. Everybody pro-death, that's right. Welcome. Yes, very serious. Front row. Absolutely. We ride at dawn. Welcome. We really do, though. Welcome to the Bitchuation Room /Bad Hasbara podcast. Thank you so much for being here, for being so far away from the lanyard monkeys and the war criminals downtown. How you guys feeling? Yes! We have a great show. Have folks been out protesting today? Anyone go out? Yes? Hell yeah. Anyone involved in our little mini J6 that we had going on? Little storming of the barricades today? Okay, no. There's a really weird lineup happening at the DNC today. It's like a shot chaser of like great progressive. Sean Fain, Hillary Clinton, you know, it's like, what are we doing here? It's like the most mixed bag. You're like, I guess I'll buy tickets. I'm gonna see AOC speak, and then Joe Biden. It's gonna be crazy. But I'm very excited because I've got such a great lineup. So many people are here today. Miles Kampf-Lassen is here, editor of In These Times. Walter Masterson is here. Rossana Rodriguez is gonna be here very, very shortly. But for now, let me get through this. Let's welcome the host of the Bad Hasbara podcast, the most moral podcast ever to be created. Please welcome Mr. Matt Lieb.
What's going on, everyone?
Let's finish out watching this song.
And that's the theme song. All right, everyone, how's it going?
Yay!
We're gonna get through the show tonight by the skin of our fucking teeth. I'll just tell you this.
It's gonna be good.
A lot of tech.
Not
tech.
a lot of tech. Minimal tech. I just can't figure out the tech.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Tech doesn't matter. The point is we're all having a good time.
Oh, let's get right into it. What are you bitching about?
What are we bitching about?
That's how we start off every single Bitchuation Room. If you don't know, now you know. Matt Lieb, what are you bitching about this fine Monday?
It's a Monday. I'm bitching about United flights that we took. Woo, United! They suck. It's the worst fucking airline in the world. Everyone there is mad at you for wanting amenities. I asked for ice, and she looked at me like I was the biggest piece of shit she's ever seen in her life. Like, oh, you want?
Zionist.
What's that?
She was a Zionist.
Yeah, she could be a Zionist.
Probably
I just want to point out, this is, I think, the first ever, like, sort of live Bad Hasbara adjacent thing. And because of that, some people will be screaming out, "She was a Zionist!" And it's just a thing that's going to happen, apparently. I'm okay with it. It's fine.
Don't worry, we'll read the think pieces in The Cut
I
pretty
know.
soon.
Yeah.
I took my date to the worst podcast ever.
Yeah. And I've rethought my thoughts about Israel. Maybe it's good.
Israel's kind of like my dating life.
It doesn't
I don't
exist.
know why it's The Cut.
It doesn't exist.
I got it.
Pretty good tag. But yeah, no, so we were supposed to get here yesterday. We had a flight scheduled at 5, and then they delayed it to 7. And then they just texted that they were canceling the flight, which is the most annoying text in the world because it's like they don't care. It's like a text that's like, oh, by the way, never mind. Your flight's canceled. You can change or whatever. I don't.
No, they didn't
care.
automatically rebook.
No, they were just like, oh, never mind. Fuck you.
You know, being Chinese, I just didn't want to get like dragged by my arms out by a United flight agent. You know, they do that to Asians on the United flights. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think they do it to all races now. Is that how it is?
That would be tight.
Equal opportunity drag you off a flight?
Yeah, equal opportunity drag you off the flight.
That is progress, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what Pete Buttigieg is fighting for right now.
I think that no matter your race, gender, creed, color, you should be dragged off a flight by your fucking hair.
That is not a good Pete Buttigieg.
I can't do it.
Is much more. There's beady eyes, and and it's like I'm way more educated than you. And a lot of condescension, but he knows exactly what he's saying.
I mean, he says a lot of words.
A lot of words. Imagine words. I am bitching about Matt because we got to get the show on the road. October 7th. That's right.
Finally, someone said it.
Not a lot of people. I feel like we don't make a big enough deal about October 7th.
Like no one ever talks about it.
Nobody talks about it.
No one ever talks about it.
We don't hear about it enough. Some of you are uncomfortable. Wait for it. October 7th, 2022. My daughter was born.
That's right. That is.
Hang on.
That is our daughter.
Our daughter was born. There we go. Our daughter was born, and like so. Honestly, on
Do you have a
October,
picture of the daughter?
not yet. Like, to be honest with y'all, on October 7th, 2023, we were celebrating.
We were.
We literally were.
Accidentally.
We didn't know.
Yeah. We did not know that Hamas was going to do it on that day. We asked them to, but we didn't think they would give Karina the present for her first birthday.
But it's all fucked up now, because now I gotta, like,
delete all your tweets going, what a wonderful day.
Yeah. Happiest day of my life.
Happiest day of my life. I got balloons. Like, it's a weird October 7th tweet.
It's fucked up. We gotta rewrite this history, y'all. You will help me remember it's Karina Lieb's birthday.
Yes.
Not the other thing. That's what I'm bitching about. But I want to bring out 2 more guests with us. Let me bring them out both, yeah?
Yeah, let's bring them out.
Let's bring them out both. Your next guest is an actor, a comedian, a professional prankster, and he has a YouTube channel called Walter Masterson. Please welcome Walter Masterson! Wherever you are. Yeah. Is everyone, are people recognizing you for the amount of like food you eat on camera right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's get Walter's mic working.
Talk into it.
Talk in.
Oh, yeah. Switch it.
Oh, we gotta switch it, but we have to bring up our other guest.
Fuck the next person. Sorry, bro.
Your next guest is the 33rd Ward Alderman. She serves as the Immigration Committee on the City Council's Latino Caucus and is a member of the Progressive Caucus. Please welcome Rossana Rodriguez! Yes, she did! Walter, how's it going? Walter, what are you bitching about today?
Well, the 14-hour, waiting, being stalled for 14 hours, that was, aggravating. I get here, I see the lineup. It's like Biden. I'm like, okay, Biden. It's like Hillary Clinton, and then my governor from my state, Kathy Hochul, who she ran today. She'd be like, she would lose. Like, even the Zionists in my family are like, ugh, like, really? Like, it's like I was like, how are we agreeing on this? And then my friend's coming in at the airport. He's like, you're not gonna believe this. He texts me a picture of, he's like, Hunter Biden was on my flight, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, we're trying why do you have to be here? We're trying to pretend you don't exist, for just like a few more months.
He's gotta work a booth.
Why the fuck are you here?
Dude, I hope he does a speech at the DNC. And it's a freestyle rap.
Seriously.
About revenge porn.
Yeah.
About how hung he is. Like,
Yeah.
Hunger Biden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hunger.
I was
Hunger
almost
Biden.
there.
Yeah,
It was almost
there's
there.
almost a pun
It was
there.
almost a pun.
Hunger Biden, yeah.
The hunger.
I mean, if he just owned it.
Yeah.
If he just leaned like all the way into it.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, and? You know, Burisma, and?
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay.
Will
It's
have a
fuck bitches get money. That's what I'm about, you know?
he'll have a reality show soon. I'm excited for it. But that's a good thing to bitch about. He's got to support his dad.
Yeah.
He's got to support his
you're
dad.
right.
Rossana, what are you bitching about?
I think the DNC, like in general.
Sure. Writ large.
The amount of work that it took to get permits for the protest and to get sound system and to get it was ridiculous.
Right.
Well, you see why it's important to have a good sound system. You see that?
Should have worked harder.
I have no idea. Now this will not work again. Keep talking.
No, I think that's what I have to bitch about right now. I mean, I have to bitch about a lot of things, but we only have so much time.
So you still have the right. I saw that there was like part of the Palestine protest was sort of cordoned off into the one, like a one-lane situation. It was like I've been, the RNC in New York. I was arrested in 2004. No big deal. I actually really didn't want to be arrested. I was just gonna take pictures. But it was like, here's your free speech zone, surrounded by a bunch of like seething NYPD officers who absolutely will arrest you. But it's like the most demoralizing thing to, yes, can I please have this permit? And can I please, which is why, honestly, I'm happy for the fence break. And I hope they do interrupt Biden's speech today. Yeah. And if only just for the permits situation. Like, forget about the genocide. You know what I'm saying? Like, in addition,
Listen,
how
I'm
dare
fine
we?
with genocide, but like, when I saw that broken window at Columbia University, I was like, absolutely not.
Someone's gonna have to clean that up.
Yeah.
Broken glass everywhere.
Shafiq is out, dude. All right, that's for a different discussion. But let's get into that. I know. I think it's a win too. Let's get into it. Everybody, we've shed what we were bitching about. Now let's get into the week where. So many things happened this week, but only two in my mind. Let's see if this works. This is the week where. Woo! All right, so this was the week where Kamala Harris realized the honeymoon is over, okay? She actually has to start talking about policy and has to start talking about what she's gonna do as president. Yes, we're starting off with policy, you guys. We're gonna get into it. Let's talk about her economic plans. It's not enough to not be Donald Trump, which, let's be real, had been working until, Joe Biden opened his mouth. And then it was like, all right, you can't be Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And so she laid out some economic plans this week, her own Kamalist manifesto, if you will. It includes wanting to build 3 million new homes, tax credit for builders of homes sold to first-time buyers, as well as $25,000 in down payments, assistance for eligible first-time buyers, capping the monthly price of insulin at $35 for all people, canceling medical debt, giving families $6,000 tax credit the year they have a new child, which I have a little bit of a bone to pick because my sweet love,
Look at our baby.
who is running under a Palestinian flag right there in LA, was born in 2022. And so we who are parents in this gap, what the fuck, dude?
Where's our money at?
Where are money? I missed out on the Biden money.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna miss out on the Kamala money should she win. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Like, there should be some sort of like back.
Honestly,
situation.
though, it's like, do you know how insane it is that I'm actually considering, like, maybe we should have another kid so we
Just to
can get that
$6,000.
tax break?
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, it's a lot of work, but fuck it, what is it, like $200 or what is it?
How much is a kid?
Yeah.
Like to buy
Worth
one.
it,
Oh,
absolutely.
kids are cheap, dude.
I really kind of want to grow another placenta. That'd be very exciting.
Yes.
Grossed a few of you out.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You think it was gross hearing about it?
I saw it come out.
That was the one thing I wanted to do, is see the placenta. I was like, let me see it. I was like, my daughter was up there. I was like, let me see it. So fucking cool. I love you. Bye.
She was rocking it like a baby, trying to feed it titty milk and stuff. Sorry for
Sorry,
using-
this is gross.
I'm sorry, everyone.
But Rossana, I wanted to bring you in for the policy a little bit. We'll get into the biggest piece of the policy, I guess, because Chicago recently attempted to pass something of a housing initiative of Bring Chicago Home, called Bring Chicago Home, and met a massive amount of real estate lobbying that, despite being massively popular, did not pass, again, because of all of this money. So give us a sense of, like, building $3 million new homes, going after, she was talking about corporate landlords, owning multiple units. What was it like here in Chicago, and how does that bode for sort of the future of, like, fixing this housing crisis, do you think?
So Bring Chicago Home is just one of the many things that we have been fighting for here. And I mean, one thing that I absolutely love about Chicago is that people fight like hell and organize like hell. And we can lose a campaign, but we're gonna come back. We're gonna learn, we're gonna come back, and we're gonna fight again. So even though Bring Chicago Home, we were not able to get it to the finish line, I am very confident that we're gonna come back with it at some point, and we're gonna be better organized for it. In terms of Kamala, I mean, it would be great if a president just came in with a bold housing agenda that actually helps solve the dire need that we have for affordable housing. But I am not going to hold my breath.
Yeah.
Because, in paper, everything looks great. And then, I feel like at this point we have a lot of experience with with putting any hopes into anything that people in the Democratic Party promise us. So what I would say is we would absolutely welcome a bold housing agenda, but we're going to continue to organize for the things that we need, which is the only way that we have actually gotten some progress. We are working on a housing preservation ordinance here in the northwest side of Chicago. Some of the northwest side progressives, and we're going to hopefully pass it in city council before the end of the year, and that will curb the conversions. All of these big developers that come in and want to eliminate 2-3 flats to create just one single family home, which is displacing a lot of people. We want to curb that, and we have been working to make sure that we have policies in place that are going to help us with that. But that is done through organizing. It's not even us, the electeds. It's all of the community organizing that is done at the grassroots level for people who don't want to get displaced and fight like hell for it.
Hell yeah. I love that. And for people not in Chicago who might be listening to this, the Bring Chicago Home was also an initiative to tax the wealthy and then redirect that into like the housing market, basically helping people stay in their homes. Just in case you didn't know.
So, and it was to alter the Constitution, right? Because the Illinois Constitution does not allow for taxing the rich. So we would have to make an amendment to the Constitution so that we can actually have a fair tax. So that
like a literal monopoly guy, like
Yeah.
the monopoly man wrote the Chicago or the Illinois Constitution.
Yes, in person. Yes, that's what happened.
I love that. Got to change it. All right. Well, let's hear from Kamala about the most, I guess, like the most triggering part of her plan for the right, which was about stopping price gouging in the supermarket, which somehow every rich guy thinks that he knows what the price of a banana is, right? $10. What could it be? So here we go. Here's what she said about price gouging. Almost said it.
I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on...
Okay, it's gouging.
So
it's
close,
gouging.
though. So close. So
Price
close.
Gauging, not the same. Price gouging, engagement.
food. My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules, and we will support smaller food businesses that are trying to play by the rules and get ahead.
Yeah, like Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
Remember Jamba's been displaced
Yeah.
from all of its
Because of all the damn
franchises.
Robux juices out
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
This really sucks. I'm just like, how are we gonna blame this on trans people, immigrants, and DEI?
I know.
And stuff. I mean, it's like free market capitalism. I mean, who else do you blame it on?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's like food is also a form of trans-affirming care if you think about it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good
Oh,
point.
That's
Fucked
what's up.
That is what's up. But that is
yeah.
effectively what the right has done, and the idea of going after big grocery stores and basically preventing them from doing things like changing the price when you look something up versus when somebody else looks something up. If it's a hot day, the price of ice cream goes up, shit like that. And Donald Trump tweeted this. Just a beautiful, amazing.
Wouldn't that be the dopest shit in the world? Like, every time the right tries to dunk, all they do is create an image, and I'm like, that would be so sick if that was real.
I know.
Threatening us with a good time.
Yeah.
I wish half of their conspiracy theories were they were like the Democrats have a plan, and I just stopped. I'm like, they have a fucking plan?
Yeah.
Well, hang on, wait. Exactly, go back. No, honestly, let's be real. The replacement of Biden with Kamala was kind of something we didn't think was possible, but Nancy Pelosi's clearly like in a final lap moment, and she's like,
Yeah.
I'll give back, I guess. Even though they're all paid by Russia and China, I'll give back.
For the people at home listening to this, you have to understand how many times I've watched Francesca practice the teeth in the mirror. The Nancy Pelosi teeth, she'll just be like, no, there's more gum, isn't there more gum? There's more gum in
There's
it.
a lot of wide eyes, and sometimes there's a little bit more sound coming through the dentures. So, just depends.
She's got like multi-tonal whistling going through various fake teeth. Which more power? Hey, listen, you got fake teeth, I got no problem with
So
it.
Trump truth, Comrade Kamala Harris is
Cool name, by the way. Once again.
It's terrible for our country. She's a communist, has always been a communist, and will always be a communist. Under her leadership, the USA will fail and fail quickly. We will not let that happen.
Kamala
Here he
went
is.
full communist. You heard that? She went full communist. She wants to destroy our country. After causing catastrophic inflation, Comrade Kamala announced that she wants to institute socialist price controls. You saw that. Never worked before. Never, ever worked.
Okay, exactly. I just heard from the never, ever, ever work, except for when a Republican instituted a freeze, not just on prices, but on wages, and did so and effectively. So there he was. It's never ever worked before, but there's more, guys. There's more that the Comrade Kamala is going to do for all of us.
And you're not going to be allowed. You're all going to be thrown into a communist system. It's a communist system. You're going to be thrown into a system where everybody gets health care. It's
What is he doing?
If only.
Is Trump a DNC shill? What is happening?
So Rossana, if someone accused you of doing that.
The funny thing is that I won my election with people accusing me of being communist.
Rules.
And it only helped. It only
It was
helped.
really interesting because the mailers that were being sent to people's houses were all, she's a communist. She is, I wore this hoodie that said Eat the Rich, the United Auto Workers hoodie that they were. So I have that one. And I wore it to City Council on the day that we were getting Bring Chicago Home out of committee. So the press was there and they took a bunch of pictures of me with the hoodie. And then, of course, it was on the front page of the Tribune. And then they made that into a mailer and said that I was a communist, but my last election I won 60-40.
Damn.
So maybe this is planned. Maybe he's onto something.
Yeah, maybe it's
he's part of this.
I don't want to be
but-
president. I just want to speak in public.
I do the thing is like the one like the last few weeks, like the right has been like flailing its arms and making fun of them. Like even like Trump, who's really great at like legendary at middle school nicknames. He's just like, come. But then you go on any far left Instagram page, they're like, oh, Kamala? Yeah, Kamala, yeah. And like, boom, right there.
Yeah.
Like, no one, like, you can't touch the far left. They were right there with it.
Yeah, that Trump actually, because he can't do it. He can't
Yeah.
call her Kamala because he's like, no, I like cops. I'm not allowed to do this. So he's completely hamstrung, and he has to just be like, all right, she's a communist who wants to give everyone money and free health care. We hate that, don't we, folks? The worst.
I am, and then Tim Walz is Bernie Sanders. Like, who's the most popular politician in America? Okay. No, but I am waiting for, I think it's going to be Van Jones to, like, obviously.
God.
We know Tulsi's advising Trump on his next debate. I think, Van will be like, let me find someone who was locked up by Kamala's truancy policies in California, which were terrible, right?
Yeah.
And trot that person out, like hit her from the left. But they're not even smart enough to fucking do that. Like, that would be the move, is to co-opt the left like they did the Bernie Sanders movement in 2016. But who's listening to me?
Yeah.
Trump team, if you're listening.
I know.
I do like the idea of Kamala's communism. Like, I don't even know what she believes in enough to actually institute, like, broadly.
Well, no, that's not fair. She believes that we exist in a context.
Yeah.
I do think.
Are you unburdened?
Yeah.
This is my.
Are you unburdened by what has been?
We'll be working in the camps. We'll all be coding.
My theory is that like she's like pushing so far to the left to avoid having to take AIPAC head on. She's like, what, you want healthcare? Fine.
Yeah.
Free housing? Yeah, it's a right. Yeah. Like, well, what's said about the proletariat? Like, fucking
Anything
cool.
but
I'm not
arms
going after
embargo.
AIPAC.
Yeah.
I just started my fucking campaign a month ago. Like,
Yeah.
God, that is the darkest thing I've ever heard. That's so true, though. You're like, listen, there's. The not killing Palestinian children thing is a non-issue. We can't get into that.
Yeah,
but let's do all the other shit.
yeah.
But let's see how
I hate this country.
let's see how his running mate Vance did with this same news of Kamala being a communist. Oh, whoops! Wait, hang on.
And you're not.
Wait, hang on. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. My bad. Slides are mixed up. But you're actually on the right path when the fucking Washington Post is freaking out at you. The billionaire-owned newspaper, Jeff Bezos, saying, when your opponent calls you communist, don't propose price control. Right? And they freak. This is the two op-eds they have, and there's more. One of them, Vice President insisted on opting for the less forthright route, blaming big business. Oh! So that's how you know they're fucking triggered by this. The centrist billionaires are triggered.
We all know
Obviously
that the
Trump's
real
triggered.
problem is small business.
Here's
Giving Kamala
Vance.
Harris control over inflation policy, Shannon, it's like giving Jeffrey Epstein control over human trafficking policy. The American people are much smarter than that.
The American people are absolutely not smarter than that. They would do that in a second. If he was like, it'll own the libs, they would be like, yay.
Yeah, but every American person is like, that fool didn't kill himself. That fool didn't kill himself. Like,
we all know.
now all we're thinking of is this. That's all we're thinking of.
Yeah.
Vance just planted that in everybody's brain. It's
Dude.
like, okay, cool.
Well, I wonder if J.D. Vance and Epstein ever met each other. Like, maybe he hooked them up with, like, an underage couch. Thank you.
Just a pillow. It was a love seat. It was a love seat.
Get it?
Very good.
Yeah.
Good tag, audience.
Good tag. That's what we do. We're doing this collectively. It was a
Yes.
love seat.
Solidarity.
But Trump does have an economic plan, guys. He knows what inflation is. He's going to explain exactly how inflation works and how insidious it is.
Something here. I did have something I would show you. Wait a minute. I don't know if you've seen this. I used it once. Oh, I have it. I do have it.
It's a gun, and he puts it in his mouth.
So, this is Tic Tacs, right?
This is
I don't know if I like the company. I've never met. I have no idea. They're so lucky. Look at all the television. This is the
Look at
greatest
the
commercial
TV.
they ever had.
It's a guy, Mr.
But
Tic
that's what
Tac.
happened. This is inflation. This is Tic Tac. This is inflation. This is what's happened. I just happened to have, somebody gave me this one today. I said, I think we'll put it up as an example of inflation. But you know what? Inflation is destroying our country.
Travel-sized Tic Tacs are an example of inflation.
I think let's not dismiss it. Let's not dismiss it outright. So it's like, listen, the migrants, they're coming across this country. As soon as like they cross the border illegally or legally under Biden, and with all like a backpack full of fentanyl, they're given a cell phone, a few $1,000s, a voter ID card, and some Tic Tacs. And
driving up
and
the
one
price.
of those like
Driving up the price.
Harris Walls hats with like the fucking trucker hat.
yeah, and they're like, we'll see you on election day, because
cool
that's how voting works, apparently. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Like if anyone has too fresh of breath, they're probably undocumented.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I know exactly where you're coming
Hey,
from.
why you smell so good? Get him out of here.
So that is the economy, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Yay! Now let's get down to brass tacks. We're here in Chicago, and yes, fuck yeah. You're all extras on the Bear, I presume. We've been looking all day for this. Right? Cuz? We all call each other cuz, right? That's not annoying all the fucking time.
Cousin, that's what it is. It's cousin.
Sorry,
We didn't
cousin.
watch the third season. It's getting. Where are the fucking
It
jokes?
sounded like it got worse. Anyway, the point is this.
Don't you fucking dare insult that show,
You guys think that Israel, keeps all of its propagandists in the homeland? They do not. They are everywhere, including in Chicago.
Yeah.
There are local Hasbarists here, and obviously we have to undergird this show. We're here to have a good time and have fun, but obviously there is a genocide happening in our name with our money, and I'm so proud of all the people, including the people in this room who fucking, who were out demanding not another bomb. Today there was sort of history was made. There was finally a panel at the DNC about Palestinian human rights. The pressure is working, the posting, the calling, the marching, all of it is fucking working. The ceasefire resolutions that we will talk about in a little bit have been working, but the propagandists, the Hasbarists continue. So this is Chicago Hasbarists brought to you by Mr. Matt Lieb over here.
Hi.
Do you want this mic?
Oh, no, this mic works, right? You can hear me? People in the back, can you hear me? Yeah. All right, sick. So the fun thing about going to another city to do the show is I was like, I wonder what kind of Hasbarists you guys have out here. And I found a guy. So I don't know if you guys know, but there's a guy, the Consul General of the Midwest. Do you guys know Yanam Cohen? If anyone knows him, it's fine if you don't, because not a great following. But I was just kind of like going through different Hasbarists. I found this guy, and I want to play one video that I found, because here's the thing about Israelis. They love when they take things that are someone else's. And that includes the watermelon. So let's play this little video.
No matter what people may say, Israelis love watermelon. That's why, in honor of National Watermelon Day, we're going to surprise our team with free watermelon.
Did you know that Israelis consume 119,000 watermelons a year? Israel is a pioneer in watermelon technology. Wait, what even is that? Watermelon. Oh, here we go.
And then a little Harry Styles for people.
And share this reel with your favorite watermelon lovers. Oh boy.
Only this guy can make eating watermelon look not enjoyable. I've never seen a guy just, so good. I like the way it tastes in my mouth. Just like, so I'm sorry, but finding this guy was wonderful because it led me down a rabbit hole, which, well, I will get to you, Rossana, because, of course, this is how this works, is a lot of these Hasbarists, one of their main jobs is to try to smear and drag elected officials who may have some words against, Zionism or against the idea of racism and whatnot. So in going through, I found...
Wait, before we move on, can we just dissect this video for
Oh,
2
yeah,
seconds?
absolutely. Let's go through it.
I feel like, so you had to appropriate the fucking watermelon
Yeah.
because you're so fragile over the fact that people are using the emoji instead of the Palestinian flag or in addition to.
Right, yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous, and you won't even. I don't know. It's not even like. I don't know. I guess maybe I would have gone with.
You know what it is? It's. I'm sorry, but it's the
wasn't
being
going into
offended at the phrase Black Lives Matter of Israelis because of the fact that a watermelon is used to represent the colors of the Palestinian flag, and they're looking at all these people who in support of Palestine are putting like a watermelon emoji in their name. They're instead of just living with it, they're just like, no, what are they saying? We don't like watermelon? What are you implying? It's like literally nothing. You made it illegal to fly the flag in the 80s.
What do you think the technology is? Cause if they did the seedless thing, I'm gonna have to reconsider my stance. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing.
Or
they
is it
absolutely
red?
didn't do the seedless thing. But if you asked him, he'd say, yeah, we made it seedless, we made it yellow, we made it, we the first people to cut it into little slices like triangles.
The first people to put it on our mouths and look like a smile.
Make a watermelon
That was
smile.
me, watermelon smile.
The first person to put all the seeds on our mouth and shoot them out like a machine gun. We invented all sorts of watermelon technology.
All right, okay, we can. Unless Walter wants to add anything.
I'm fucking speechless.
And that is the point of Hasbara.
I didn't know the Midwest was big on watermelons.
Yeah. But
All right.
yeah, it is, watching that video led me down a rabbit hole of the kind of, a lot of the different Zionist institutions within Chicago and the Midwest, a couple of which have attacked you personally. And before we get to that, I found another person. This is a influencer, entrepreneur named, her name is Lindsay Pinchuk. And she did a great video talking shit about the band Hozier. It's an Irish band. And I just want to play a video. Just so.
First we have the Miss Rachel bit.
Oh, is it Miss Rachel first?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing she did, and this is when I realized I'd seen her before, was she went on a rant attacking Mrs. Rachel. Anyone here have children? Okay. Those of you who have children.
Fucked up.
Yeah, first of all, I'm sorry.
I wanted that money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you wanted
exactly.
you
You
wanted
wanted
that
that
sweet
credit.
$200. You want that sweet money, baby money.
So Miss Rachel is the most adorable but also obnoxious children's YouTube creator who
Yeah.
recently said that she was donating a bunch of money to children in Gaza.
Yes, and because of that, she was attacked viciously.
No, but
by-
you haven't seen the original video of Miss Rachel where she's like, all she says is just children shouldn't die.
Yeah, right.
Be wildly anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Well, she was also
Classic trope.
wearing a shirt with an upside-down red triangle and a Hamas banner. So
Yeah.
I understand. I get why they'd be offended. She was screaming, "Curse the Jews!" as she was. No, but it was very simple, and she was attacked ferociously to the point where she's posting videos where she's crying and stuff. And eventually, she does a video in which she does a prayer for all the children of the world who are dying, which is her trying to be like, I care about everyone. Stop calling.
If you're not mad enough, you have to watch Miss Rachel's TikToks. If you watch 5 of them, you'll be like, oh my God, how fucking dare you? It's like the sweetest
you
woman
protect her
alive.
with your life.
Yes. All she does is teach my child to say Papa. Fuck you. for yelling at her. And even in her sort of mea culpa, if you will, by doing a video and singing for all the children, Chicago's very own Lindsay Pinchuk made this video. You could do it. I believe in you. Watermelon guy's gonna talk again.
The damage is already done. Yes, Miss Rachel gave a prayer for everyone today, a prayer for Gaza, a prayer for Israel, a prayer for the civilians, a prayer for the hostages. But over the last 2 reels, she has shared with her 2.1 million followers all about the starving children in Gaza. And I'm not to say that children aren't starving there, but what about the starving children in Yemen, and the starving children in the Sudan, and the starving children in Syria? What about those starving children? When you only put information up about the starving children in Gaza, you are implying that Jewish people, Israeli people are causing this, and it causes harm to my family, to my community, and to all of the Jewish people in the world. So, Miss Rachel, you can't put up a prayer like this when you have spent the last 7 months sharing a message with your community about essentially how horrible Israelis are and how horrible the Jewish community is. And you might not have come out and said that verbatim.
You may not have used those exact words.
I think she has a point. I want to get into that.
It's not okay. You do not get to come out today with this prayer and all of a sudden be a fucking hero, because you are far from it.
I think
Walter?
I think I want to, she has a point, we should stop sending weapons to Yemen immediately.
Yeah.
All right? You know what? And if these kids, these kids that are protesting for Yemen on the college campuses, just fucking mow them down.
Mow 'em down.
Right? They should be all expelled. These, Yemen, anti-Yemen people on the college campuses.
Anti-Yemites.
Anti-Yemites. Exactly. No more money to the Sudan or the Congo.
I like how she's like, and I know you're not actually doing that, but I'm saying you're doing that, so you're doing it.
The craziest thing, too, is she admits in the video that a genocide is happening. She says it. And that might be, she essentially says that it's happening. And then she goes on to say, but have you guys thought about making a list of other things we could talk about for, let's say, couple years till we figure this whole Gaza thing out? It's just
the whataboutism around, but children are being bombed to smithereens all over the world. It's like, are they? I don't think so. Not at this pace at all. Not like the 2-3 atomic bombs worth. No, it's so the whataboutism of just throw your hands up. Well, I guess we all do it.
Yeah.
Doopy doo. I've had people say that to my fucking face. Liberal Zionists say that to my face. Why don't you care about all these other places? Number one, we do. And number two, you can't whataboutism away this shit. Sorry.
You can't all lives matter a genocide, you fucking freak. Yeah. And also, this is a 3-minute video about Miss Rachel. All she does is sing about what's in the box, what could it be, do you want to take something out with me? What the fuck? It's insane, especially since it's we have a child and our child loves Miss Rachel.
Protect Miss Rachel.
You put her on and she's so happy.
All right, we got to keep moving.
Okay.
Hozier.
We're getting there, guys. Next thing, Hozier. She's yelling at Hozier for a bit, an Irish guy who's
better be shorter, goddammit.
It's much shorter.
Last night, Hozier, this man here,
terrible sunglasses,
stood on a stage in front of you at Lollapalooza.
So you can't see her Smeagol eyes.
Protests against injustice. He urged people to call their representatives to demand a ceasefire in the Middle East, specifically in Gaza. And all of this because, I quote, "We wouldn't want to see any other human being subject to the kind of violence we've seen in Gaza in the last few months."
Sounds reasonable.
You cheered. But what about the violence that the terrorists inflicted on the Nova Festival goers and all of Israel on October 7th? Where is the mention in that? Has Hozier been to Gaza? Has he been to Israel? Have you? Do you have a clue what you are actually cheering for? We all know that this lunatic has lost his mind and is greatly uninformed. This isn't his first rant. But when you cheer him on, supporting a message that is backed by anything but peace and riddled with such misinformation, you are complicit. You're complicit in the hate that's dividing our nation, in the inhumanity that Israel faced on October 7th, and that the hostages face every single day. A normal, sane person would be speaking out for both the innocent civilians in Gaza and for the Israelis, specifically.
Like Miss Rachel, that fucking cunt.
You are cheering for the kidnapping, rape, abuse, and torture of festival goers who are just like you.
So she's here.
Oh, is
Where
it
does
hard?
she live?
Is it hard for you guys to watch these videos all day? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is all I've been doing for fucking 10 months. These motherfuckers. So here's why I bring this up. I bring this up because one time Hozier actually tweeted at Francesca. And
I had no idea who they were.
yeah, so they sung the song "Take Me to Church," and there was actually when our daughter was the day after October 8th. I wrote "I am Daddy," and then Francesca.
And I wrote, "My pussy looks like the Joker right now." And Hozier.
Do you want to know how I got these scars? Hozier wrote, "Congratulations!" Jesus Christ, take me to church, you know what I mean?
And then people were like, "What?"
They're like, "Why are you doing this, Hozier?" It was great.
Oh, she had a baby. Oh.
I thought he was just replying to someone who had a weird Joker pussy. But to move on, I wanted to talk to you, Rosanna, about the kind of like institutions, the Zionist institutions within Chicago and your experience with it, because you are someone who has been attacked and smeared. And one of the things that you did was you got in trouble for asking your Facebook friends about an anti-Zionist pediatrician. And they immediately took that and they were just like, wow.
That one was really hard because that was actually my private, like my personal.
Right.
So it was somebody that knows me sort of like in a more sort of friendly way. Because I wouldn't have posted. I thought that I was talking to a very specific group of people.
Friends, yeah.
And some of them actually replied with like, oh, check out like this.
Right.
You know, some of them actually like heard the question and were like, oh, I know what she's saying.
So it was on your private Facebook page. Got it.
And then somebody took a screenshot and then it became circulated by a lot of people, including state senators. I learned about it because one of my colleagues called me to his office and said, hey, I just want you to know that I'm getting these texts from all of these senators and representatives in Springfield. And they're like really angry. And I'm like, I don't understand why are people angry? And I think that there is, for me at least, being from Puerto Rico, being from a colonized country, I have a really deep understanding of imperialism and colonialism. And I do understand that the Zionist is being used now also in a very anti-Semitic sort of way. But I think that we can not separate the fact that the Zionist project in Israel is responsible for a genocide, and that it needs to be said, right? So I said that, and I am very fortunate that I have an incredible relationship with a lot of anti-Zionist Jewish people in Chicago, and they always come to my defense. And we struggled together. But that was a really, really hard moment, particularly because there was a picture of my baby in that post, and it was shared without blurring his face, right? And I think that was one of those, because I received a lot of hate, and since I started working on the ceasefire resolution, which for a while I was alone, doing that work, I started getting death threats and rape threats, and it was really ugly. But when the picture of my baby was shared, that just crossed a line that, I had to take a moment and
Meanwhile, Matt would relish in a picture of our baby being shared in that con. He will not.
It's an October 7th baby.
But that
we
was
made an accidental Hamas baby. I want them to see.
No, she was a precursor. We made a PLO baby. No,
You know, it'd be cooler if it was the conception. Like if the conception was on October 7th.
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah, she
No,
held it in for 12 months. She's like, come on, I'm waiting for Hamas to do this thing.
It's not a crazy thing because when you're also a new parent, you're like, you have other parent friends, you know. And honestly, like I was like wanting to put on all the like parent groups, like so like. Is everybody not cool with genocide here? Because then we can all hang, you know. Like you make new friends, and you're like, oh, but I don't. Like I had to break up with some friends who were just like, Hamas will rape your baby, like that kind of thing, or whatever. Like
my staff
Hamas would kill your
with
baby.
A lot of
Yes.
that. At some point, it also became really hard because it was not just me receiving death threats and the picture of Marcel being circulated, but people in my office that had to answer the phones were just listening to people say, "I hope Hamas rapes you," or like you deserve to
something
be
happens to your
raped
child.
by Hamas.
It is so like it's disgusting on multiple points. One, of course, like any rape threat, especially against anyone, especially children, is just insane. But also, why are you outsourcing this fantasy to Hamas? This is clearly something you want to happen. And it's like, even in your most racist fantasy, you get more racist by like, I would never. Remember, I am superior and I would never do this. But it's just like, oh, it just drives me crazy.
No, I have gotten very graphic rape threats that I am like, I just cannot understand how somebody can sit down and think about the things that they're going to do.
Yes.
And then write them down and send them to me in an email.
Like, it takes time. Like, there's a copy editor. Like someone was like, no, let's spell check
You think
this.
someone copy edited Lindsay's whole rant?
I gotta say, like, as someone who gets a lot of death threats, there's it's just okay.
Show off.
I know. Listen, as a white man in this country, I don't know how, but you could just sometimes I can just tell when someone was sitting down when they wrote it. Can you do that?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I was picturing this man for sure.
Yeah, like
thinking
they were
about
sitting
the things
when
that
they
they were
wrote
gonna
that.
do to me,
Yeah.
and he also called me a speak, which was really interesting because I don't get called that like often.
He dated himself.
It's like, now you know how old he is, roughly. You're like, okay. Yeah.
Come on.
My favorite is when I get trolled or death threats from someone who's like, I think you're a terrible slut, and I hope, everything, whatever, like, Hamas comes and, whatever, rapes you, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm not doing this. I could literally read this to you, and then it's like, Robert. 755-892-6639. And you're just like,
Call me.
He like straight up put his home phone number.
I've got more stories if you want them.
Why would you do that?
I'm a bit of a writer myself, actually.
You need some help with your podcast? Guys, I want to just remind y'all to feel free to go get drinks because we've got to bring in Miles for our next.
Well, why did you say that? Now Miles is gonna come on
No,
and be like, where'd everyone go?
Just to
Bring in drinks. It's Miles' turn.
No. To tuck in because we're gonna have a lot more fun. We're gonna talk about Chicago politics for a little bit. Hell yeah! And we're gonna also round this out with a game of two truths and a lie. RFK Jr. All right, so just a plug to support the venue, support the Lincoln Lodge. We love the Lincoln Lodge.
Oh, that's right. Is there intermission?
No
intermission.
No intermission, but I did want to bring in. I'm just telling people.
Okay.
I mean, not to just leave now. We're gonna get into it. Let's talk about the DNC. Is it 68 all over again? 2024, 1968. Let's talk about Brandon Johnson. Let's talk about this fucking Democratic Party that we can't kick. This is the sitch. Here we go. I'm doing it.
Now keep the pussy pick on. All right.
And joining us for the sitch, he is the senior editor in These Times magazine. His writing has also been featured in Jacobin, The Nation, and The Guardian. Please welcome Miles Kampf-Lassen. All right. Is that working? Yay! Keep it going.
That's okay?
Can you restore some sanity to this panel?
I can, but I'm glad you told everybody to get drunk before I get on stage.
You've been waiting very patiently. Were you familiar with the local Hasbarists?
I had never seen any of them, nor Miss Rachel, but I'm excited.
I got more
to check
names
out
for you if you want. That's all I do.
Miles, I want to talk to you about the Chicago DNC, obviously. 1968, 2024, massive anti-war protests and potentially repression. I don't know. This is very different time. Hopefully not as awful, but I want to talk to you about Mayor Johnson and his response to, I guess, the DNC being here in Chicago, and especially at a time when these massive protests are calling on not just a ceasefire, because that's so old news, on a weapons embargo, an arms embargo to Israel, which will stop the bloodshed. We know that Brandon Johnson recently said that what was happening in Gaza is genocidal, which is more than I think any mayor has actually uttered. But give me your sense of what position this puts him in, and Chicago reacting to having the DNC here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for coming out. Yeah, it's an exciting time, and I do think that this is definitely a moment where we're seeing what it looks like to have an actual movement organizer in politics, right, and in leadership. I mean, we've seen so many legislators, incredible ones like Rossana, who've come out of labor organizing, come out of socialist organizing, come in and be, legislators pushing, laws and bills. We haven't really seen people like Brandon Johnson, who's taking on an administrative role, where you're running the cops, you're running, the schools, you gotta running the budget, and there's these entrenched systems of, racism, of structural inequality, of austerity, and so it's very difficult to kind of navigate that landscape, especially considering that there are, still so many, basically capitalists that are controlling a lot of what goes on in terms of the city, in terms of money flows, in terms of policy. And so it's kind of incredible to have a mayor who's been calling this a genocide, who did the tie-breaking vote for the ceasefire resolution. And made Chicago the biggest city, in the country right now to embrace the ceasefire.
It is.
And the arms embargo call comes out of the fact that the basic fact is we have leverage, right? The United States, Israel is essentially a client state, and we are supplying the bombs that are being used to carry out this genocide. So if we want them to stop, the way to do that is by cutting off that spigot, right? And that is why people are calling for it. And to have the mayor at a time when this is all happening and we're seeing thousands of protesters descend on the city, you brought up 68. That was at that time, Mayor Daley was basically, we're gonna crush dissent. We're gonna bring in, the National Guard. We're gonna bring in police. I read this statistic that said there were so many undercover FBI agents that were brought in at the time of the DNC in '68. There was 1 for every 10 protesters, essentially.
Did they accidentally beat each other up? Because that would be hilarious.
So I mean, there's no doubt that there's provocateurs. There are people. There's all kinds of government agents now, in the streets today, basically. But it's not at that level by any means. I mean, they called Chicago Fort Daley back then because of how militarized it was. And we're just, we haven't seen that kind of response yet. That's not to let the cops off the hook or to say, there's not, we shouldn't be out here and protesting the type of police violence that, we see on a regular basis. But to have a different, it just shows how far the city has come since the days of Rahm Emanuel, even Lori Lightfoot, but definitely Daley to have.
Wasn't that a bad string? I mean, you were due for a Brandon Johnson. For a real long time.
I forgot Rahm Emanuel was the mayor. Holy shit.
No, Lori Lightfoot, my favorite part was her Negro Modelos when she lost. Remember that photo of her leaving the CVS?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that. That was a great. Was it a Walgreens? My bad.
Whatever it is, she was so real for that.
She was so real. But
she also did say she had the biggest dick in Chicago, which I thought was one of the coolest things about her whole.
Do you think that has the line been sort of has it come down on Brandon Johnson? Like, has the Democratic Party, you think, been like, no, we want everyone cleared off? Or do you feel like he's stepping to maybe the no protesters call that's coming from the top down? That's very convoluted, but...
Well, I think you could see in like how, some of the leaders of the Coalition for Justice in Palestine have said to the media, like, he's one of us. We know he's gonna like be on our side. And by all reports, he was one of the people that actually intervened to say, like, we're gonna let them get a stage. We're gonna let them, because in '68, they didn't give permits for like any of the protests, right? There was like one small protest they got a permit for. Everything else, Daley was like, if you're out in the streets, you're an enemy of the state. You're shoot to kill.
Yeah, shoot to kill.
Right,
Yeah.
and there was the whole thing of like, the Gestapo tactics that were denounced on the floor. This is very different, right? Where it's actually somebody's coming through and working with the protesters and trying to like see, because he's been in civil disobedience before, right? Like he's seen how people use exposing police violence as a way to shine a light on the injustice of the system. Like he gets it, right? So like that, I think is a total like change in frame of how when it comes from like the political establishment. Rossana knows about this
But
as well.
that said, the coalition still had to go to court to fight for certain things in order to be able to get permits, in order to be able to get the sound system. And it was a back and forth, right? And what I think is, regardless of if we have an organizer or somebody that comes from movement in office, people cannot let down. Like you continue to organize, you continue to exercise pressure, you continue to use the inside-outside strategy so that we can actually get the things that we need, because it's really hard in there.
Because the pressure from the other side is so insurmountable, and things that you're not even
It
seeing,
is.
right?
It is.
To co-opt them, to like
And he's
glad
been
hand
called,
them.
all kind, like every like name in the book, right? And this is the thing, is like, Obama got elected in 2008, and people were just kind of like, okay, chill, right? And like, I think that was just...
That's when racism. And so.
I just think there was like demobilization among like the political organizing community. And we have not demobilized in Chicago. Instead, people
At
are
all.
like, they're like, this is our chance. We gotta push. And that's what we're seeing in this DNC right now.
Well, let's contrast that, because we talked about Lori Lightfoot, obviously her awful tenure, not holding cops accountable in this city, and continuing from Rahm Emanuel's tenure doing the same thing. How has Brandon Johnson shifted on this? I mean, it seems like, we're so far away from 2020, and yet is the biggest, other than the pro-Palestine movement, maybe the second or first biggest movement of our lifetimes. And yet, fund the police, right, is what we're hearing from the Senate and what we're hearing from Joe Biden.
Right, and I think that this is like, we saw Brandon Johnson's campaign come out of the Black Lives Matter movement now to, what happened in response to the killing of George Floyd, and people are demanding justice from the police. I don't think we've seen any kind of watershed transformation, but some basic things. I mean, there was, in March, I think, there was a horrible police killing of a black man named Dexter Reed, who was shot like 96 times, and it was put on video. Really disturbing. And versus, you think back on Rahm Emanuel's tenure, he covered up the murder of Laquan McDonald.
Yes.
There's basically no doubt about that. Who was shot, a black teenager shot 16 times, and whose video was suppressed. What Mayor Johnson took a very different tack. He, pushed for the video to be released much sooner. He went through the communities that were impacted and did you spoke with impacted communities, and just gave voice to what you can't stop necessarily every police officer from doing horrible actions, but you can push for accountability and that I think that the movement we're seeing is towards enforcing the consent decree. I don't think we've seen enough action happen. I think Rossana can probably speak to this, from an insider's perspective, but like it's definitely feels different in terms of watching how we've seen police accountability and police violence being dealt with in the city, from Lori Lightfoot and Rahm Emanuel to Brandon Johnson.
Yeah.
I would say, at least from the place in which I am operating, which is mostly trying to establish an integrated mental health system that provides crisis response, but also provides follow-up care and preventative care all together. Public, fighting the neoliberal policies that we have had with unionized workforce, and completely public and free. the commitment to remove police from mental health crisis response was made good on, and we don't no longer have police in the teams, which is something that we fought for and that we were able to get under Brandon Johnson.
How is that? I mean, how does that actually work? Like, you still call 911, but if it's a mental health crisis, you're not going to send in the cops. What?
Right. So we have crisis response teams. It's a system called CARE. And we have people in the call center who are trained, mostly clinicians, that can identify a mental health emergency. And then you send the teams that are usually going to be either a clinician or a peer support person with a clinician. And they are going to go respond to the emergency. And of course, the system is in development. We just removed the police from the system.
Huge. Nice.
So that also creates...
Next. Traffic.
Yeah.
Removing them from traffic stops.
So,
I mean, that's you. Like,
that's something that we are talking about,
definitely.
definitely. And I think that is right now the move, to think about what are all the things that the police do not have to interact with, and then we limit the contact of people with police if it's unnecessary.
Exactly.
Like, have less contact with
You
police.
just don't need people with guns always around, like answering everything.
know.
And we should just say, like, this is part of this broader campaign and coalition that Rossana has been an extreme leader on, and a courageous leader in fighting for treatment, not trauma, to move away from police as the only answer. And that's also included reinvesting in public mental health clinics. And I think the reason that is so important is because for so long, the only solution to anything in Chicago was privatization. Let's hand it over to some private contractors, right? And when they shut down the city's mental health clinics, Rahm Emanuel shut down half of them. They just gave them over to, they said it was nonprofits, but it's just private, organizations that then are now in charge of, and there's no accountability, there's no way to like follow up on that. Now we just saw the mayor announce they're going to reopen 2 public mental health clinics in the city, which is, a massive change. It's not enough, but it's a massive change.
And
that's the result
huge.
It's huge. And that's largely the result of the work Rossana has helped to lead.
Yeah,
so.
the idea of treatment not trauma is to integrate the public mental health clinics that we still have. We used to have 19 mental health clinics all across Chicago. We ended up with 5. After Daly and Ram closed the vast majority of them. And now we are trying to reopen them. And we are trying to also expand mental health services in other places, such as libraries, for example, that are highly used by homeless population, so that you have support there. And
that's so difficult,
also
because once they've
happening.
already been privatized, this is like a model to re-nationalize, republicize something.
But one of the interesting things that are happening, and we talk about this a lot, is that when you delegate a lot of the care to nonprofits specifically, you are also deciding that you're going to pay way less to the providers.
Right.
And that creates a revolving door. So the quality of the care goes down. You don't have continuity of care because people don't last a lot in those jobs. They get paid so little and the volume is so high. So we have been making the case, if you actually want to take care of the workers that you're asking to care for people, then you have to be able to have union. You have to be able to pay people a decent salary. And if you are paying the cops the amount of money that you're paying them, you have to pay these other workers the same amount, right?
Yes.
Or a similar amount, and they need pensions and they need this safety net to be able to carry out that work. So we have been doing that work, and it has ended up in the reopening of 2 clinics and the expansion of services.
I have a concern, and my concern is that what are cops going to do then? Because if you take away traffic stops and you take away mental health situations and you start opening up these mental health care facilities instead of just putting everyone in prison, doesn't that mean that the job of a cop will just be to walk around in a circle, flipping their nightstick and going, "Oh, good top of the morning to you"?
The cops here in Chicago already look like little Lego men. They're so
They
adorable.
do.
They got little
Y'all
checker
are the most
hats
Lego-ass
and
cops
little
I've
fucking-
ever seen.
Yeah, they're super cute already. I mean, they're terrible, but
They're deadly, but the vest is adorable.
I forgot something. I want to say something really cool.
Yes.
So we also have, Chicago also has some public STI testing centers that you can go and you can get tested for free. And we are adding mental health services to those spaces to make sure that when people come to get one service, they know that there is the possibility of having another service, and we can be like a
That's
one-stop
cool.
shop.
My governor in California is personally sweeping homeless encampments.
Yeah.
So we're like, tomato, tomato, pretty
Didn't,
cool.
didn't he like dress down for it too?
Yeah,
like,
he
put
just
a-
thought he was a fucking Anderson Cooper of like NIMBYism piece of shit.
And his name is fucking Gavin, which really, too California of a name. It annoys me more than anything. Like, he should speak like that. So he's just like, hey, I'm gonna kill all the homeless guys. But he should be like, hey, what's up?
That's how he talks when he's at the French Laundry.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted to
That's
ask
what's
you
up.
about. Rossana, you ran as a socialist. You were elected as a socialist.
Yeah.
Here you are talking about alternatives to policing and incarceration, but also, using cops for mental health crises, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's so beautiful. But like, when are you gonna become just like a fat cat of the city council, just sucking on the corporate teat, and then run for president? No, but I guess I'm wondering, I am so desperate to look at local politicians like yourself who are doing this work in a city as big as Chicago, because we have, again, corporate Democrats, and we wonder, we always want a third party, but that shit's got to come from the grassroots. It's got to come locally, right? And my eyes are on Chicago, honestly. We better incubate here. But yeah, what are your thoughts when you think nationally and federally to the Democratic Party and the idea that AOC, who may be speaking right now, but said
Let's
something.
tune in. No, I'm kidding.
It's just a makeup tutorial. No, I'm kidding. Wow, shots fired. No, love her. Fuck yeah. No, that like she said, look, Joe Biden and I would be in a different party if we were in a different country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're totally right. It has to come from the grassroots. Like, you're asking me, when am I going to become a black cat? Never, because I have an independent political organization around me that even if I wanted to do that, as soon as I start steering away from the vision and the project that we have developed, I'm going to be called out and they're not going to run me again, right? And I am accountable to them, and we are accountable to each other in the ecosystem that we have created of independent political organizations, particularly in the Northwest side. And we have elected officials at all levels of government. So we have a Congresswoman, Delia Ramirez, for example, that we elected. And she's incredible. And she stays true to the things that we ask her that we want to see. Yeah. In the last election, for the primary, we had a seat, the 20th District Senate seat. I think there was like almost $3 million that were spent defending the incumbent that was appointed by people that were in the committee seats. We won that race against $3 million that were put in there with like very little money. But we can organize. We know how to do it. And at this point, people respect us because we know how to do it. So I think that, our model is not going to fit. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Communities need, their own approaches, but we definitely have at least like a blueprint that can be used so that we can continue organizing and pushing people to do the things that we want them to do.
And we should just say we're on right now, we're kind of the liberated space of the Northwest Side. There's like a whole connected area of completely socialist represented wards all through here. From the 1st Ward to the 35th Ward, where Carlos Ramirez Rosa is the alderman, to the 33rd Ward, where Rossana is. So.
Okay, but how many wards are there? Are there
50.
Like,
there's 50.
oh,
so we don't.
Damn, that's crazy. I was like, if
That's
there's
too
like
many
300,
wards.
that's 50 is not that many. You
Is
guys
that
are
not a
fucking
lot?
taking
I
over.
can't count that high.
It's nothing. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
I think I'm also curious about the history of the Democratic Party when it comes to like rejecting anything that's like popular and good for them. I know the other night, Miles, you were at a celebration of Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Push Coalition, which, by the way, I just learned this today, referred to the alliance that formed in the late 60s by Fred Hampton, leader of the Chicago branch of the Black Panther Party. with the Puerto Rican group of the Young Lords, the Young Patriots, which was a group of poor white migrants from the Appalachian region. So like I didn't know the origin of rainbow. I was like, oh, that's fucking tight. But Jesse Jackson ran an amazing campaign in '84, won 5 primaries, 3 million votes. In '88, 7 primaries. He won 4 caucuses and nearly 7 million votes. And he like electrified the DNC that year, and then they didn't even pick him for fucking vice president. Lost both those years, the Democratic Party. So this is just like, are we turning a page? Is Tim Walz, is your Midwest Prince, like maybe a page turn for the Democratic Party, understanding what might be good for them in terms of personality, platform? Is Kamala's care economy, we'll see what she talks about, which I feel like speaks to some of the things, Rossana, you're doing locally, or like what will it take to really push them? I don't know what this question is, just fucking take it.
Well, they didn't give the vice presidency to Bernie either, and he did pretty good too. So I mean, I think that the party ecosystem is definitely resistant to any type of challenge that will actually like push for fundamental change, right? And that is clearly not gone anywhere. If you play by the rules, you're going to be welcomed in. If not, you're going to be seen as a threat. And
so that's what resistance lib means.
Yeah, exactly.
But if your brain melts so much to the point where you can't finish a sentence, they might actually do the right thing.
Well, exactly, and that's what you asked. Like, did they learn anything? Like, they clearly learned you can't run a corpse, right?
Hey!
That's a hard lesson to learn, though.
Right?
That's a hard lesson. I mean, who's to say how long it takes to figure that shit out?
Well, but that's progress, even if it's menial progress, right?
It's so true.
Because that's what we were walking into. And I do think that the selection of Walz over like somebody like Shapiro, who was like the most boring centrist and clearly deeply like pro-Israel candidate, shows that there's a different kind of way of thinking in the party in terms of like what is going to appeal to most voters and what's going to be politically sound. But I don't think that that's because like party elders figured out, oh, we should move to the left. It's because the political tectonic plates of America have shifted so far left from where they were just a few decades ago, because of like an upswell of grassroots organizing, and because of campaigns of those people like Bernie Sanders or like Rossana that like challenge what is seen as common sense within the Democratic coalition, and been like, no, actually, we should push forward populist policies that will respond to the needs of the working class. That's the kind of change that I think has happened, but it doesn't happen because the people on the top think it should happen. It's responding to what's actually happening on the ground.
Love it. Yes. Walter, any last words before we leave this segment? Or are you ready for some RFK?
Oof, okay, yeah. I'm going to shut up for once. Let's do some RFK, motherfucker.
Hell yeah! Thank you, Miles. And you're staying. You're going nowhere. We have a game, ladies and gentlemen. We will round out this evening in this pod with our game, 2 Truths and a Lie, RFK Jr. Oh. Here we go. Oh, I'm so hot. All right. Let's go, everybody. Who wants to go first?
I will.
Matt? Okay. You can't look here because there's
I'm
no
not
answers.
gonna look.
There's also no answers here.
Why would I cheat?
Okay, 2 truths and a lie. By the way, RFK Jr., he won't be able to see shit now.
Let's do this shit.
Blind as a bat. Beautiful man. His campaign is not going well. He's been begging either Trump or now Kamala to be like, is there like a position? Do you have like a falconing ambassador or?
Do the voice.
You haven't done the voice.
I'm not gonna do that. Speaking into a fan. He's just speaking into a fan, motherfucker. Yeah. I don't give a shit what he's got. I'm gonna make fun of him. Fuck that guy, and you'll know why. But so. Nobody can help. Everybody agree. If you know the answer, you cannot help. There's going to be 2 rounds and then a tie-breaking round. 2 truths and a lie, RFK Jr. edition before he goes bye-bye. Here we go, round 1. Ow, I'm getting shocked by this.
We're gonna die here.
2 truths and a lie, Matt Lieb, round 1. He was the leader of a child gang.
What is the Kennedys but a child gang?
Once took a dead skunk to a barbershop. Or He likes to eat rat eyes.
There's two truths in this.
Which is the lie, Matt Lieb?
He likes to eat rat eyes. It sounds like something you would make up, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure he likes to eat rat eyes. Once took a dead skunk to a barber shop. That's so specific. Was he getting it cut? Was he just like, was he styling it? Okay. He likes to eat rat eyes. I think that's a lie. He would never eat a rat's eye. He might eat its whole head.
I don't have another slide for this, but is that a truth or a lie? That is true.
What? He likes to eat rat eyes?
He likes to eat rat eyes, and he was the leader of a child gang. He did not take a dead skunk to a barber shop.
Can you explain the rat eyes thing? How did that come up in conversation?
Was it with a child gang that he
led a child gang of just little hooligans,
And
little
his-
kids.
But they
around the
ate
neighborhood.
rat eyes?
Yeah, it's like initiation
They
scene.
eat rat eyes
an
was
initiation.
separate.
You gotta eat that rat's eyes if
That
you want to
makes
join
sense.
the Kennedys.
So
You want to enter Camelot? You gotta pay the toll.
But no, yeah, he enjoys roadkill and all kinds of roadkill. He's fucking disgusting. He's a weird guy and a predator, and we'll get into more. All right, Walter. Walter, you're up next.
Oh, boy.
Two truths and a lie. Threatened a police officer with a falcon. Got into a verbal altercation with Richard Nixon's grandson at the Iowa State Fair.
Oh my God.
Or assaulted the family nanny.
Okay. Assaulted the family nanny. I mean, that's just an RFK Jr. favorite. We all know that. I mean, come on. Which one of us doesn't know his sexual assault history? Got into a verbal altercation with Richard. That's so goddamn specific. That how is that? Okay, if that's not true, respect to you for writing that, because that's fucking amazing. All right, just absolute God. Yeah. So that I'm gonna go with the Richard Nixon grandson and the sexual assault for 300, Alex. Yeah.
Which is the lie?
To threatening a police officer with a falcon
Is a lie.
It's a lie.
That is true.
You wrote a really specific.
Granny does good writing.
That is so specific.
I do stand up. Come see me tomorrow night. Let's go. All right.
So good.
0 for 2 here, or 0 for 1, 0 for 1, whatever. No
Wait,
points.
I want to know the story. Why did he threaten? Well, not why. I mean, who wouldn't? Threaten a police-
He was accosted by a police officer, and he's like, my falcon has been trained to attack law enforcement or something like that. But because he's a fucking Kennedy, they're like, oh, okay.
That is the most
It's so hard as a white person to get shot by the police. It's we're like this is a fucking falcon.
Absolutely. They should teach that in bias training.
Yeah.
If a white man has a falcon and threatens you with it,
Yeah.
that is actually a threat still. All right, Rossana.
Let's go.
RFK Jr. believes in a moratorium on fracking, exclusively drinks Fijian rainwater, or claimed Sirhan didn't kill his father.
I think the last two are true.
Are true.
The
Okay.
first one is a lie.
First one is believes in a moratorium on fracking. Believes in moratorium on fracking is true. It does believe in that. He has walked away from it in order to be loved by all the crazies. But he's like, no, it needs to be phased out and ultimately banned. He does not drink Fijian rainwater. I do. And he
That's
did claim Sirhan
disappointing.
didn't kill his father. And I realized that we fucked up these. Okay. Hang on. I'm not gonna. Okay. No, I'll do the next one. I'm gonna read you the next one, Miles.
Okay.
Okay, because I don't love. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Okay, 2 truths and a lie. RFK
He's
Jr.
probably right about the Sirhan thing, by the way.
Yeah.
I killed RFK.
RFK Jr. once claimed nude CrossFit saved his marriage. RFK
With Cheryl Hines? Oh, okay.
RFK Jr. once released snakes on a plane, like in the movie Snakes on a Plane. RFK Jr. calls himself the Anne Frank of the anti-vax movement.
Oh my God! That's got to be true. That's got to be true.
That has to be true.
You never call yourself the Anne Frank of anything. It's a good rule.
Yeah, that's a great.
Only one kind of thing you should be Anne Frank for.
Yeah.
Well, he can't. I mean, he just can't be this psychotic about animals in every situation. I cannot possibly believe the bear crap, the falcon stuff, and the rat stuff, and the snakes. So it's got to not be the snakes. I'm gonna say the snakes is the lie.
The snakes is true, ladies and gentlemen. Very true. Nude CrossFit did not save his marriage, however. He's definitely cheating on Cheryl. All right. That was that. All right. Matt, you got another shot here.
Oh, I thought you won.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No one has a single point.
Well, that's amazing.
Okay.
Honestly, what an interesting life this guy has led. He shouldn't be president. He should be in a museum. He should be in the Smithsonian.
RFK Jr., speaking of treatment on trauma, Jesus Christ, the guy needs some, has refused a rabies shot since 1978.
I believe it.
Claims he takes organic testosterone. And blamed a murder that his cousin served time for on a group of black men, one of whom was the cousin of Kobe Bryant.
What the fuck? That feels true, but it's long. But it's so detailed. I think claims he takes organic testosterone. That's the lie, and the reason I think that is because it feels like I don't know. It just I just don't want to get it wrong about blame the murder on his cousin. Like.
So the lie is the organic testosterone?
Yes.
Okay, that is true. For all we know, he's got his rabies vaccination. That is a lie, but he did blame a murder that his cousin served time for. Martha Moxley, on a group of black men, including the cousin of Kobe Bryant. And he claims he takes, so he got really jacked really quickly, and everyone knows that he's on steroids. He's clearly on roids, and he's like, nah, it's organic testosterone.
Yeah. I just drink straight cum. I'm on a 100% cum diet. Can I be the president?
I feel like
grass-fed cum.
Grass-fed cum. All right. Oh shit, we were in round 2. All right, round 2. Walter Masterson. RFK Jr. No one's got a single fucking point yet. This is almost last round. RFK Jr. gave his uncle JFK a salamander as a gift, is responsible for the death of 83 Samoans from measles, and met his wife Cheryl at a fundraiser for Children's Health Defense, an anti-vax group he led. Which is the lie?
Okay, the measles thing I know. Yeah, that's like 100. I'm 100 on that one. The Cheryl Hines thing, nothing would surprise me about the two of them. I'm gonna say the salamander thing, not even that crazy. Salamander's a gift. Well, it's not weird. It's a salamander.
I like that you're gonna pick the less crazy one and be like, that one's the lie. He only does crazy shit.
Yeah, like he didn't fuck the salamander's eyeballs. He was like, oh, it's a salamander.
That's
Do
true.
You want it? Do you want it? And they're like, yes, give the salamander to someone else.
It's better than the rat eyes he gave me last Christmas. So you're saying that is the lie?
That's the lie.
Okay, the salamander is true, however. Salamander is true. He met his wife, Cheryl Hines, this is a little bit of a trick question, through Larry David. Introduced the two of them, and...
You fucked up, Larry.
Yeah, he fucked up.
Oh, God. Fun fact, though, if you've been to his rallies, his own people that show up don't believe in climate change. It's fucking weird.
But he does. The one thing that he actually
None of them do.
I don't-
None of them do. I'm like,
If he
I'm
does,
just
he
like,
doesn't
nope,
talk
nope, nope. Chemtrails. Yep, okay.
Organic testosterone.
Why are you here? I don't know. Yeah.
They don't know. All right, Rossana, who's going to get a point? The first point. RFK Jr. wrote 6 anti-vax books, got his brother addicted to drugs, once said on a podcast that bushmeat tastes better than vagina.
I'm gonna say.
Wait, I don't think I know what bush means.
That's like things you forage, like a raccoon or a squirrel, or
like an animal from the bush.
An animal from the bush.
Like a squirrel. Oh, yeah.
Dead
Chipmunk.
bear.
I don't know if those two words should be that close to each other.
Well, it was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the first one again?
He wrote 6 anti-vax books.
Damn. I'm gonna say that the podcast is the lie.
You are correct. The Very good.
Impressive.
Did it.
Wow.
Yeah, the joke should have been bush meat tastes better than bush. You're right, like that. He did get his brother addicted to drugs, and his brother OD'd.
All of it
So
sounded plausible. Like
Yeah.
all of it sounded like him.
That's amazing.
All right, Miles, you have a chance to match this 1 point. Here we go. All the information you didn't want to know about RFK Jr. His classmates said he could walk up walls like Spider-Man. His second wife hung herself in response to RFK Jr.'s incessant cheating. Or the scene from E.T. where Elliot frees the frogs is based on something that actually happened to RFK. Something
He's
RFK
with him and the animals. He's like, it's kind of sick.
He's fucking Dr.
Wait, Steven
Dr. Doolittle, but he
Spielberg?
doesn't vaccinate any of them.
Steven
So they're all
Spielberg
just dying.
Well, I do actually sadly think that the second one is true, so I am gonna go with the walk up walls like Spider-Man.
That is true.
I win.
With the scene from E.T., I was like, man, this is RFK Jr.'s like origin story, right? He's like, freeze the frogs. Because no, that's made up. Oh, Rossana is in the lead. Can anyone, who wants to, we have one more question. Let's get the audience to participate, because Rossana's clearly the winner. Audience, tiebreaker. Which one is the truth and which one is, or 2 truths and 1 lie? RFK Jr. is friends with Fidel Castro's anti-communist daughter, Elena Fernandez. Was featured on an edition of The Tortoise magazine. Or was once given a television show by Roger Ailes. Which is the lie? 1, 2, or 3?
All right. Okay, all right. We're going to do it by round of applause.
Round of applause.
For A, clap your hands. For B, clap your hands. For C, clap your hands. Between B and C.
I think C wins as the fake one. All right.
Well, let's do it one more time.
Okay, between 2 and 3.
Okay, so.
Or did you say B and C?
Yeah. 2 and 3, B, C, same thing.
I don't get it.
Potato. All right, so the Tortoise magazine, if you think that's a lie, clap.
Roger Ailes TV show? It's super even.
No.
What do you say?
I think B.
Yeah, they're saying B.
B is, okay, well, Rosanna's the champion, so if you lose this, do we revoke a point?
If you lose this, then they both win.
No! Guys, the tortoise. Oh, it's nice and blurry, I'm sorry. I couldn't find a better
Why is he
photo.
holding it there?
He's gonna fuck that tortoise.
That just came out. He's not friends with Castro's daughter, but that makes total sense, right? But he's definitely not friends. You guys, that has been the Bitchuation Room / Bad Hasbara. Wait. Where's the... Follow us on all the things. Please give it up for Miles Kampf-Lassen. For Walter Masterson. For Rossana Rodriguez-Sanchez.
Francesca Fiorentini. Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you guys. We are doing stand-up tomorrow night. There are still tickets, I think, for the late show. Also, I'm selling some T-shirts for the podcast over there on the merch table. They're $10 off than they usually are. They're all union made. Very exciting. There's some stickers also union made. And any other plugs people want to get in, everybody follow Walter Masterson on his YouTube page. He's going to be out there eating big bowls full of ramen and pointing out glaring hypocrisies of the Republican Party, which is hard work. Everybody follow the Bad Hasbara, and thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Love y'all. Woo!